All right, let's talk about something that could completely change how we live our lives online. We're going to dive into a new technology that might, just might, be the thing that finally kills the password for good. Welcome back to our Web3 Financial Intelligence series. You're here for day one, where we're tackling a real game changer, Soulbound Tokens. This is a huge piece of the puzzle in the new world of Web3, and, what our digital identity is actually going to look like. But before we get into all that, let me ask you something. Come on, be honest. How many times have you clicked that forgot password link this year? Or how many of your accounts right now are using the exact same password? The truth is, the whole system we've been using for decades, it's completely broken, and it's leaving every single one of us wide open. So, before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to look at why things are so bad right now. Let's break down the problem with passwords.
Okay, so here's the real problem. Passwords were built for an older version of the internet, a centralized one. Think about it. Every time you sign up for a new service, they take a little piece of your identity and lock it away in their own little box, their own private database. You don't own it, they do.
And that creates massive, massive risks. We hear about it all the time, right? Huge data breaches, crazy phishing scams, the absolute nightmare of identity theft. Every single time you log in, you're handing over control to somebody else. That's just not going to fly in Web3. In this new world, our identity has to be owned by us, it needs to be portable, and it has to be totally secure. Okay, so if passwords are the problem, what's the solution?
Well, this is where a pretty cool new idea comes in. They're called Soulbound Tokens, or SBTs for short.
So what is an SBT? Well, think of it like a special digital token that lives forever in your secure crypto wallet. And the most important part? It's non-transferable. You can't give it away, you can't sell it, it's bound to you. Kind of like a digital tattoo. It's meant to represent who you are, what you've accomplished, your reputation. Now, of course, that whole permanent digital tattoo thing raises some pretty big questions about privacy. Can you ever escape your past? And those are really important conversations people are having about this technology.
And here's where it all starts to make sense. You've heard of NFTs, right? They prove what you own, a piece of art, a concert ticket, whatever, and you can sell them. Well, SBTs are the complete opposite. They prove who you are. Think about it. You can't sell your driver's license or your college diploma to someone else, right? It's the same idea. You can't sell your soulbound token.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does this actually work in the real world? How does this replace that login screen we stare at a dozen times a day? So picture this. You go to a website, but instead of that old username and password box, you just see one button, Connect Wallet. You click it, your wallet does its thing, the website instantly verifies your soulbound identity on the blockchain, and boom, you're in. That's it. No database for them to get hacked, no passwords for you to forget, no annoying text messages with codes. It's just easy and way, way more secure.
But just logging in, that's barely scratching the surface. The really mind-blowing part is how SBTs could totally change what we even think of as digital identity.
Let's talk about education, for example. Right now, you've got a piece of paper that says you graduated. It can get lost, it can be faked. Imagine instead your university issues your degree as an SBT right to your digital wallet. Now you have a permanent, instantly verifiable credential that you and only you control. And it's the same thing for your career. What if every time you left a job, your employer could issue an SBT that proves your job title, your responsibilities, the dates you worked there? Suddenly, your resume isn't just a document with claims on it. It's a living portfolio of credentials that anyone can verify on the blockchain. Or how about finance? You know that whole KYC process where you have to upload your passport and a utility bill every time you sign up for something new? What a pain. With SBTs, a bank could verify you once, give you a verified token, and from then on, you could just use that token to prove who you are without ever having to share all your sensitive personal documents over and over again. You see? The big takeaway here is that this isn't just about some fancy new tech. It's a massive shift in power. It's about building a future where you are finally in control of your own identity. And this quote really nails it. Passwords are a thing of the past. They're a relic of Web 2. Soulbound tokens are pointing us toward a future of self-sovereign identity. That's a fancy way of saying a future where you truly, truly own who you are online. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What if your reputation,
All your skills, everything you've ever accomplished. What if all of that was as easy to prove and as secure as the money in your bank account? Tomorrow, on day 2, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how this all actually works. We'll talk about the infrastructure, things like decentralized identifiers and on-chain credentials. It's going to be good. I'll see you then.
Subscribe and visit Web3 Newswire for visibility and credibility of your Web3 projects.